Breaking news, Storm has been released, but it's not Lance Storm, it's not James Storm, it's not even Tim Storm, it is Toni Storm. Storm's a pretty shit name in the wrestling business in general, so when you're at best the fourth best Storm, then you know you're in trouble. You know you haven't had a great career. Alright guys, welcome back to Fog Wrestling. So these days in wrestling, there is no news. I mean, the biggest news we had in 2021 was probably Jeff Hardy allegedly shitting himself in the ring, and then that turned out to be false. It looks like Jeff was just on the drugs again and left, so you don't get big news. So this is the closest thing to it. Toni Storm has been, initially I thought she'd been fired, but turns out she's been released, and she actually asked for her release. So Toni Storm is gone. People are going to make out this is a big deal. I mean, in reality, it is not. She'll just get replaced by another call-up from NXT. So, there's nothing special about Toni Storm. Just an indie wrestler that WWE signed up. They had her on NXT for a few years, called her up to the main roster, put her on a feud with Charlotte. Of course, she lost because everybody loses to Charlotte. And now she's gone. Wasn't on the main roster enough to build up any sort of name or, cement herself as, no, I wouldn't even say a star, but she didn't even cement herself as like a regular TV personality. The Toni Storm name means shit, so people can say she's going to go to AEW. She just didn't do enough in WWE to, deserve any sort of recognition. She could be signed by AEW and it wouldn't mean nothing. Their women's roster would still suck. She's not going to be the saviour to AEW's roster because she didn't do nothing. She spent a couple of years in development and then came up to the main roster and was gone after about 6 months. So, it is what it is. I'm not saying she's horrible by any means. I guess she's alright. She's alright in the ring, she's a hot chick, but who isn't in WWE, you know what I mean? That's pretty much everybody's look and ability these days. Everyone in WWE seems to be half decent in the ring, and they seem to be semi-attractive. So, I mean, Toni Storm just fits that bill, and probably 15 years ago she would have had a unique look to her, kind of like the Ashley Massaro look. But in 2021, she doesn't really. She just kind of looks like everyone else. If you look at her, then you look at all these other chicks in the AEW or NXT or Ring of Honor or whatever. They all kind of look like this. Your kind of rock, sort of indie, alternative looking chick, whereas back in the day you didn't really get that. Everyone was more like a blonde bombshell. Lita was the first one that really stood out, and then like I said, you had Ashley Massaro who kind of came in as like the rocker punk chick. But now but these days there's a lot of rock punk alternative chicks in wrestling. So I mean, Toni Storm doesn't even stand out that way. Would she be good in AEW? Would she be good in Impact? I couldn't give a shit. I don't know. She's got a weird Australian voice. I'm not a massive fan on her. Don't hate her by any means, but I certainly haven't seen enough to, give her mega praise. To me, she's just another person on the roster, and I think women's wrestling is massively overrated. I mean, you look at women's wrestling, and who have they really created? You had the original Four Horsewomen. Obviously, they're still running strong. And Alexa Bliss stands out. So I'd say Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Flair, Lynch, and Bayley. But apart from that, who else has actually really, been built up in WWE to become a star? I mean, they tried to build up Bianca Belair. She's just kind of fallen away. Rhea Ripley's fallen away. Everyone else seems awful. Toni Storm was supposed to be the next best thing, and now she's gone too. And I don't know, maybe will she be taking a break for wrestling? Apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, the reason she asked for her release was because of burnout, essentially. I find that mad. That cannot be the reason. She gets called up to the main roster for half a year, and then she decides she can't do it anymore. That's very lame. If that is the reason, then someone like her is never going to make it. Because you need to work hard. You need to be willing to work almost 365 days a year. And if she's quitting after 6 months on the main roster, then God help her. Maybe it's going to Impact where she works 2 dates a month or something. That might be better for her, because I don't think she can hack it in the WWE. But yeah, Toni Storm no longer in the WWE. probably will end up in another company in 90 days' time or whatever, but I don't see the Toni Storm hype. I mean, she's attractive enough. I mean, yeah, she's a good-looking girl, nice ass, but apart from that, is she anything special in the ring? No. Does she have a special look to her? Like I said, 15 years ago, yes, she would have. Nowadays, in 2021, no, half the women's wrestlers look like this. So, yeah, there's nothing about Toni Storm, in my opinion, that's great. Could she potentially be built into someone who's great? Maybe, but she's not that yet, so I don't think her going to AEW. And I've heard that already, people almost like salivating at the mouth about Toni Storm going to AEW, and why. She would just be she would just be another chick on the roster, and their roster's bad enough. So she's not a star, she's not a name, she's got no real name value, and in my opinion, she wouldn't add much to the AEW roster. So who knows, guys? Let us know down below. What was your thoughts on Toni Storm? Did you enjoy her? Did we see enough of her in WWE? Personally, I don't think so. I just wasn't a massive fan, and I don't know, guys. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But she is young. I think she's only 23, so she's got a lot of time ahead of her. But and who knows? She might return to WWE one day. But for now, her WWE career is over, and it looks like we're stuck with Charlotte Flair for the foreseeable future. And fuck that makes wrestling shite. Every time you watch SmackDown and you see Charlotte Flair, you just want to literally poke both your fucking eyeballs out. At least Toni Storm's pretty good to look at. I mean, you look at Charlotte Flair and she looks like a fucking candle that's been, lit. Her face is like waxed melt. She's had that many fucking surgeries and just looks very plastic, and she's just boring, right? We've seen enough of her. She's been shoved down her throat for the past 6 years. We don't want to see any more Charlotte Flair. But that's the thing about it. Fuck Charlotte Flair. Toni Storm's gone. She asked for her release. She got her release. She's gone. Free agent. Where will she turn up next? My guess is AEW, but who knows? Maybe she'll land up in Impact, or maybe she'll... I don't know, actually. The fact that she is not an American citizen, and I believe she might have the same issue that the Iconics had, where she's actually working on a visa. So who knows what's going to happen here? Unless she's married to someone, or I don't know what's happening, but maybe she'll actually be forced into, taking another job, or else she might have to leave the country. Don't know, guys, especially with COVID-19 going on. Don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, that's it. Toni Storm is gone from the WWE. It isn't big news, but it's pretty much the only wrestling news we've got. So there you go. Till next time, let us know what you think down below in the comments. Peace.